Next week on EastEnders, Patrick learns about Yolanda's assault, Billy confronts his dad, and George receives a shocking diagnosis. Yolande bravely decides to take action, while tensions rise between Billy and Stevie. Meanwhile, Callum's fans are dismayed as he seemingly moves on from Ben. 10 major EastEnders spoilers for the upcoming week. What's happening in Walford soon? Spoilers for EastEnders ahead. Next week on EastEnders, a special episode will reveal Yolanda's attack to Patrick, while George receives a startling prognosis and Billy presses his father Stevie for clarification. Here is a comprehensive list of the most significant upcoming events. 1. Patrick is concerned about Yolande. Particularly after Sonia reveals that Yolande skipped a doctor's visit that he was unaware of, Patrick becomes concerned for Yolande. When Yolande fails to show up for the food van's launch, Denise also becomes worried and tells Patrick that Pastor Clayton might be able to speak with her. Following Denise's counsel, Patrick confides in Pastor Clayton, who suggests that Yolande might not be feeling well. Yolande becomes enraged when Patrick informs her about Pastor Clayton's concerns during a heart-to-heart conversation. 2. Billy snaps at people. Billy is firm that his dad is not permitted to be close to their family, despite Honey's best efforts to convince him to give Stevie a chance. Afterwards, Stevie runs into Will, Lexi, and Janet and attempts to have lunch with them all to get to know them better. Billy is incensed upon learning of this, but Honey maintains that the kids have a right to know their grandfather. Billy gets furious when he finds Will at the cafe with his grandfather, even though he has been defying Honey's requests to allow the family to see Stevie. Billy is terrified that he is becoming more and more like his father as the situation verges on violence. 3. George receives heartbreaking information. When Gina and Anna reveal that Eddie arranged Gloria's burial without telling him, George is horrified. George, in pain, calls Rufus to set up a brawl. Gina and Anna, who want to help their dad, think of the idea of hosting a memorial service for Gloria at the Vic to ease George's grief. Their half-brother Junior receives a telegram from Anna inviting him to join them. 4. Patrick discovers the reality when Elaine calls to see how Yolande is doing. She asks her friend to tell Patrick the truth about Pastor Clayton because Yolande can't bring herself to do it herself. Patrick is devastated, and Elaine calmly explains what's occurred to him over the phone. In a unique two-hander, Patrick will attempt to talk to Yolande, who has locked herself in the bathroom, while he tries to comprehend the news. Yolande runs to stop Patrick as he goes to confront Pastor Clayton, though, as his rage takes over. 5. Yolande takes a bold choice. Yolande and Patrick start talking about what Yolande has been through as soon as they get back inside. In the end, Yolande consents to inform the church authorities about Pastor Clayton. Yolande insists on going alone, even though Patrick wishes to accompany her. Later, Yolande tells Levi that she was sexually assaulted by Pastor Clayton. He praises her bravery and says he would look into her issue as soon as possible. 6. George is given an unsettling diagnosis. George is recovering from severe injuries sustained in his struggle the previous evening on the day of Gloria's memorial. Gina and Anna are upset that Junior is not coming, but things worsen when George loses consciousness and nearly passes out. When Cindy and Phil realize what's going on, they make George go to the hospital and get scanned. Later, George is horrified to learn that he has a brain disorder connected to chronic head trauma and that a single strike to the head could be fatal. When Elaine and the daughters find out that he has been fighting and that Cindy was fully aware of it, they become enraged. 7. Billy addresses Stevie. Billy is advised by Phil to stay near Stevie and discover his true motivations. Billy goes out for a drink with Stevie against his better judgment and asks to know what his father really wants. Billy is left thinking when Stevie maintains that he's just a lonely elderly man who wants to get to know his family. To their surprise, Billy has asked Stevie over when Honey, Will, and Janet get home. 8. Denzel's ideas have angered Amy. Denzel makes plans to work with Ebony, an influencer. When Amy learns about Denzel's partnership with influencer Ebony, she is not very thrilled. 9. George receives an ultimatum from Cindy following George's prognosis. Cindy witnesses Rufus approaching George and offering him another fight in addition to the money from the previous night. Cindy has additional issues to deal with because Gina and Anna have stopped talking to her after she revealed George's boxing secret. After some time, they decide to have lunch together, and Cindy makes a pledge to persuade George to stop fighting. Cindy suggests George use internet therapy to help him deal with his intense emotions, but George initially rejects her offer. Cindy issues an ultimatum to George after he calls Rufus to set up a fight for the next week while he is by himself. 10. Patrick experiences emotional difficulties. Hearing that Levi has set up a meeting with his superiors for the upcoming week doesn't sit well with Patrick, who finds the glacial pace of the process frustrating. In the cafe, he confronts Levi and threatens to take matters into his own hands if he doesn't move things ahead. Yolande urges Patrick to stop after he confronts Pastor Clayton angrily at the community center after he witnesses him posturing. A heartfelt Yolande and Patrick episode will appear on EastEnders. Yolande will open up about the assault in an upcoming episode, which will premiere in early May, when she talks to her life partner about the experience. An emotional two-hander episode featuring EastEnders Rudolph Walker and Angela Winter will premiere in early May. The focus of the episode will be on Yolande and Patrick once he learns that Pastor Clayton had molested her, as well as the events that transpired right away. When Yolande tells her life partner about the assault, the revelation will serve as the impetus for her to ultimately speak out about it. Although Patrick will no longer be confused for weeks about Yolande's well-being, he will have to go on a challenging new road as he tries to make sense of what has happened and figure out how to support Yolande. When you have talent like Angela Winter and Rudolph Walker, and you have a story that deserves time and space to explore, it felt only right to produce an EastEnders two-hander episode, stated Chris Clenshaw, executive producer of EastEnders, about the episode. We have the opportunity to tell Yolande and Patrick's tale honestly and genuinely because this is the most painful talk they will ever have, and we are honored to dedicate an episode to them. I'm amazed with how well Angela and Rudolph performed, especially considering how difficult and delicate the material was. Tuesday, May 7, 2024 is when the two-hander episode of The Trumans will premiere. Fans of EastEnders are discovering something devastating about Callum, and it's not going well. The knowledge that Callum Highway has moved on from his criminal husband Ben Mitchell has infuriated EastEnders viewers. Ben was sent down for 6 years after being accused with credit card fraud and being extradited to the U.S. last month. After being married in 2021, Ben got embroiled in a horrifying tale of male rape and subsequently received an eating disorder diagnosis, which caused instability in their marriage. Supporters had anticipated a happy ending for the character and his on-screen spouse, who goes by Callum, but this was not the case. In a touching farewell, Ben was informed by police officer Callum that, although he was angry at him for what he had done, he would wait for him while he was in custody. But based on an Instagram photo that the BBC soap opera released yesterday, it appears that he has already moved on. A photo of Tony and co-star Martin Fowler in the renowned Queen Vic set of the Vic was captioned, "A perfect moment captured in the Vic." Observers promptly saw that Tony was missing Callum's wedding ring, implying that he might have made the decision to end his relationship. One questioned, "Where is Callum's wedding ring?" The humorous reply, "In the Thames," came right after the query. Another said, "Ben hasn't been gone long and Callum has already jumped into Martin's bed." One person speculated that the photo wasn't of the actors as their alter egos, saying that it was most likely taken behind the scenes because Martin and Callum don't typically communicate. This is probably Tony and not Callum. The social media crew of the soap opera fueled rumors earlier this month that Johnny Carter might soon become the Walford Copper. Since he returned to Albert Square earlier this year, the two characters have appeared in a number of scenes together and have been deeply involved in the drama surrounding the sixth murder of Keanu Taylor. Could the two men be seeking solace from their troubles on a shoulder to cry on? On April 10, another Instagram post hinted that the two would be getting closer in future scenes, or at the very least, keeping things under wraps. They shared an image of Tony and Charlie with their 791,000 followers along with the message, "What's going on here?" Please subscribe our channel.